Well, hello, everyone. It is me, Jackie Wilson, and we are live again today for Wellness Wednesday. And every Wednesday I come before you guys and I share a great video. We're always talking about what matters to you, right? Different topics that matter to you, whether you're a male or a female. We're going to talk about these different topics, something that's important, something that I want and hope that you're going to be able to look at it and say, this is confirmation for me. This is, motivation. Maybe it's the first time I've even heard it, right? Or maybe you're explaining it to me in a way that I've never heard it explained before. So wherever you find yourself in my videos, I greatly appreciate you being supportive and watching the video. And I hope that you get something out of it today. What is your takeaway going to be, right? So think about that as you're listening to the video. What's your takeaway? So I hope that you take away some positive things and you apply it to your life. So with that being said, we're talking today about stress and how stress can kill you. That was what the topic is, right? Now, I'm just saying the reason why they say it like that, stress will kill you, that's a saying. And then also it says stress will kill you faster than a bullet. Now we know that's not true, right? But it sounds kind of odd. It's like stress can kill you faster than a bullet. Nah, that's not true. But what they're basically saying is that stress is very damaging to your body. To your mind, body, and soul. And so I'm going to talk to you today about how the effects of stress is on your body, okay? So now when we talk about stress, what is stress? Well, and then I'm going to share some information with you about experiences for me too, okay? So when we're talking about stress, what is stress? Well, stress is you're worrying about a situation, you're worrying about a crisis, you're worrying about your job, about your children, about your marriage, about a relationship, as far as your friends, family members, you're worried about something that affects each one of these individuals that I have mentioned, the relationships that you have, okay? Even something with you. Maybe you got some bad news regarding your health and you're stressing out about that. It could be something on the job. Maybe you're stressed about your job and don't know, hey, do I want to keep going to this job because they're stressing me out, right? So wherever you find yourself in the part of me saying that stress, whatever that stress is for you, whatever that it is for you, right? When you think about it, you can't change it. You can't change that you don't like this job or that you're stressed out when you go to job. I've been in that situation. You can't change the fact that if you get into a car accident, which I did, you can't change the fact that let me just share this with you. I was in a car accident a few years ago and I was sitting at a light and the person hit me from the back. Now I could see that person coming behind me in the rearview mirror where this person was going to hit me in the back, okay? There was literally nothing I can do. I couldn't get out of my truck. I could not move around to avoid being hit. I actually had moved over to the side because of how the traffic was going in the front and I was trying to avoid getting hit, right? Or hitting someone else. And so I figured if I moved over closer to the side, like by the sidewalk where the bike lane is, if I moved over as close as I could there because there was no bikes coming, then if somebody was coming behind me, they wouldn't hit me, right? Because they would be on the side of me and I wouldn't hit anybody in front. So I thought, right? So I did just what I told you. So I moved over as close as I could. The guy behind me was not paying attention. So he actually instead of him going straight and being next to me, he hit me. He veered over to hit me in the back. There was nothing I can do. I could see him coming behind me through the rearview mirror. I'm panicked. I'm like stressed out. I had my hands on the steering wheel and I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't move here. I can't move here. I can't get out because I'll get hit, right? I couldn't even do anything other than brace myself for this impact, okay? So this is what I'm talking about. Even though I was worrying, I was dealing with some stress and anxiety because I'm like, oh my gosh, if he hit me, he could push me more into traffic. He could maybe push me over to the side. I could hit somebody if they're walking or a bike come through. I'm just like, all of these different thoughts are running through my head. And there was nothing I could do but sit there and brace myself for that impact, okay? And that's what I did. The most terrifying thing I've ever faced before in my life is to actually see that somebody's going to hit you from the back, okay? So when the impact hit me, it hit me pretty good. So that was with the first accident. I had 2 accidents in Arizona, the longer time I lived there. So that was the first one. So the next one I got hit from the back was last year during the pandemic. And I got hit from the back, right? Now I'm sitting, waiting to make a turn with my signal on. The lady wasn't paying attention. I didn't even see her. She hit me from the back so hard. The impact was just like hit me from the back, pushed me in the front. It was nothing I could do. Okay, so even if I would have seen her, if I would have tried to go into the traffic, that would have been bad. If I would have tried to go to the right, that would have been bad because traffic was coming that way. I literally couldn't do anything, but I'm stressed out because I felt the impact, right? stressed out in the first accident because I could see him. With this act, the second one, I couldn't see her. Okay, I just felt the impact. So basically what I'm trying to share with you is there's going to be some times where we're going to be stressed about some things that we can see and we still can't do anything about it. There's going to be times where there's going to be a situation that we're going to be stressed out about and we don't see it happening and we still can't do anything about it. What we can do is try to minimize how we stress out about that, okay? Because it damages your mind, body, and soul. The stress does, and it bothers you internally, okay? And we're going to talk about the internal effects that stress has on your body. So I want you to look at some things of how you cannot do that. So we'll talk about that in next week's video, okay? But this one, we're going to talk about the effects of stress and how it affects your body. So what I was going to mention to you about, back to this accident that I was in, one time I could see it, the other time I couldn't see it. It's nothing that I could do. So all I had to do was brace myself for that situation, deal with the stress of what I could deal with and what I couldn't deal with, right? And then we got to trust God and whatever your higher power is, that your higher power or God is going to be able to help you to get out of that situation or to make that situation better, right? Even if it does happen, but it can make it better for you, okay? That you can get out of that situation. In my situation, both of those, I survived. Okay, I may have had some bangs or some bumps or something, but I survived. So that was a blessing to me because it could have been worse, right? It could have been so much worse, especially the first one when he could have pushed me into traffic and it could have caused, so many car pileups, right? So that was a blessing within itself. So sometimes we have to look to see what is the blessing that we can find in that situation. Okay, we may not always know that it's going to turn out in a positive way, but we have to trust and believe that that situation, it happened for a reason and that it can be better. Okay, but to stress out about it, you can't change anything. I want to just tell that part. You can't change it. Now, if you're anybody like me, I used to stress when I was in my early 20s and even when I was younger, because I felt like if I got myself in that situation, I could get myself out of that, right? But through the years, I learned that you can't always do that. That's not always true. And you have to learn how to deal with the stress and not over stress out about some of the things that you can't change, right? It's just a fact. And so what the stress does for you or to your body, the more you stress, it may not happen right then, but over time, it's going to affect your body internally, okay? So now for me, I'm a stress eater. So when I get stressed, you know what? I turn to butter pecan ice cream and red velvet cupcakes, okay? Or even a cake, as long as it's red velvet. That's my comfort food for right now. And I go through different spurts where I may want something different, but butter pecan is always there, okay? So it's like I have my ups and downs with craving for my comfort food when I'm stressed out about things. And then I have to look at there's certain health conditions on both sides of my family that I have to be mindful of, right? So as I'm going through my stress, for me, that's comfort. What is your comfort? You have to think about what's your comfort food that you like to go to when you're stressed, okay? And you're trying to figure something out, but what do? Some people use alcohol and drugs. Some people are, like I said, with the comfort food. But what are some of the things that can come out of that as we're going through with our vices at that time, our way to help us to relax and to calm down? And we're using these different types of ways that I mentioned that we're doing, okay? So what it does is, it affects your body, and I'm going to tell you how it affects your body. Stress. It can cause headaches. It causes high blood pressure, heart condition, diabetes. You're not able to sleep, insomnia, right? Skin conditions. Well, I can say for myself, I haven't had problems with that in my adult life, but when I was younger, in my early teens, I used to have problems with acne. Okay, so and I'm sure that has something to do with some stress back then too, as far as with school or with friends or whatever, right? Just the pressures of being a preteen and a teenager, okay? So also asthma, arthritis, depression, and anxiety. So all of these different factors play all of these different illnesses play a part in as a result of all of the stress that we've been putting our bodies through, okay? So it doesn't matter what size you are. You can be small like me. You can be even smaller than me. You can be bigger than me. It really doesn't matter. It still will affect your body, okay? And in these areas, it'll do that. And then there's some studies that have shown that cancer is a problem with that too, as a result of the stress because of how we're eating, right? So just think about it. When you're stressed, you're probably not able to go to sleep. I know I've dealt with insomnia before. I've dealt with restless nights where I couldn't sleep. I've even had to take medication in order to help me to, you know, to calm down, to go to sleep. I've even bought, after my accident last year, I even bought Dr. Teal's lotion and body wash, which has sleep and melatonin in there to help you go to sleep. So I've tried those things. I've also dealt with, or I should say, what one of the another side effect is eating. So you can overeat as a result of that, right? Like I said about the comfort food. So you can overeat, and then that'll cause that person to be overweight. They can become obese as a result of that, which is also another part of having a health condition that can happen as a result of stress, right? So it affects our body, our mind, body, and soul, the things that we're doing. So you have to look at what are some things that I can do to eliminate that from happening. What are some things that you can do? Now, we'll talk about that on next week's video. What are some suggestions that you can do, or tips that you can, you know, that I can offer to you in order for you to lessen the stress that you have, and also so that it doesn't affect your body? Because internally, if you're not sleeping, if you're eating unhealthy because you've got these comfort foods like I do, right, you're probably going to be constipated. You're going to be your stomach's going to be inflamed. You won't be able to go to the bathroom regularly. Like I said, be constipated. It'll mess up with your intestines, with your colon, with your liver. All of that can be affected. Your kidneys, everything can be affected as a result of the stress and how we're eating, right? And just how we're impacting our bodies with it. So now for women, we carry our weight in our midsection, in our hips, and in our thigh areas, right? So we have to look at how can we decrease the stress so that we don't carry it in those areas, right? To decrease the weight, the stored fat that's in those areas, okay? So like I said, we'll talk about that on next week. But I wanted to share this information with you just so that you're aware of how stress can affect your body and where's the areas that it's affecting your body. Okay, so that going forward, you can start doing some things different and maybe lessen the stress and the anxiety that you have that's going on in your life. Okay, there's some things that we can make changes in order so that it doesn't affect us to that degree. So now I also wanted to share with you guys that going forward on Wednesdays, we're going to always do these Wellness Wednesdays, and I'm your life coach, Jackie Wilson, so please join in, okay? And if you like what you're seeing on these videos, please, by all means, subscribe to the channel. I would greatly appreciate this. Will help me to continue to put out this great content on a weekly basis, and as well, and then I'm also going to continue doing my morning videos, and I'll post those onto the page as well, okay? So that way you'll get a chance to see it. So I look forward to seeing you guys in the morning, as well at 7 o'clock, which is Central Standard Time. Will actually be more like about 7:15 for you all, okay? And that way we'll get a chance to do the video. So if you want to follow me on Facebook, by all means, you can follow me on Facebook, just Jackie Wilson, Jackie Sinette Wilson. You can follow me on Facebook, okay? And with that being said, the end of the video, and I will see you guys on tomorrow. Some of you all tomorrow morning at 7:15, and for the rest of you, I'll see you next week. But anyway, you have a great rest of your day. Be empowered, be inspiring, be motivated, empower someone else, and have a great rest of your evening. Bye-bye.